If in Expedition 33 you're still not getting a bunch of buffs per round, starting from level 20, then you've done something wrong, or maybe you haven't quite understood the color of the Lumina. It's not that easy, so no hate, friends. Today, I'm going to show you how the color of the Lumina really works. And if you're already wondering why we're actually increasing the color of the Lumina for the individual characters here, yes, then you're exactly in the right place in this video, and you definitely shouldn't turn it off, because there's much more potential in your character than you might think. Because we can, of course, use the Pictos multiple times. And if you don't know how to do that yet, I'll show you now. And if you now go to the main menu, to your character, and here you have Lumina 0 out of 22. For example, it says, then definitely don't turn it off, friends. But let's start from the very beginning. I'll explain to you how the game works so you can, finally, play it properly. So, friends, the color of the Lumina. This is an item that we can find everywhere. And if you're wondering what it's even suitable for, then definitely watch here. Because once we've met the curator, we can distribute the color of the Lumina and give more Lumina to the character of our choice. But what exactly is Lumina, and why can we increase it here? And does it really benefit us? What? Yes, it actually benefits you a lot, because you can use multiple Pictos at once. And you should definitely do that, because if you have 0 out of 22 here, then you haven't yet reached your full potential if there's a 0. And that's why we're going to do it now. Let's first go into Loan, where we also currently have 0 out of 22. And now it's really important, friends, to first understand the menu at all. Here on the left with the Pictos, where we have 3 Pictos equipped, these are the Pictos that we are currently learning with the character. And once we have learned a Pictos, we can use it with all characters. So the left side is not the equipment menu, but the learning menu. And here the character learns the individual Pictos that he has equipped. You can actually also see if you have already learned a Pictos when you go in here and enter the selection. Here on the right, you can already see 3 Pictos that I have selected. They are all already learned. They have a golden border around their triangle. Pictos that are not learned, as we can see on the left side, do not have a golden triangle around their border. I'll show you this again in detail. The top Pictos is not yet learned, as it doesn't have a golden border around it. The second Pictos is about 3/4 learned, and it already has a partial golden border around it. And the very last Pictos is actually the only Pictos that has already been learned here currently. It has a completely golden border, and that's how you can tell if a Pictos has been learned. So this one here is currently learned, as it's the only one with a golden border around it. And that's how we can recognize it in a menu. This means for us, of course, that we should ideally use Pictos on the left side that we want to learn. So make sure to equip items here that we want to learn later and also give to other characters. If you then use these Pictos in a battle that haven't been learned yet, you will learn them and can then use them with other characters. Once you have learned the Pictos, a display at the bottom will show Lumina learned. It has essentially been converted into a Lumina and can thus be used by all characters. So it's really important to understand which Pictos have we already learned. And once we've learned it, it will have a golden border around it. And then we don't necessarily need to equip it on the left side anymore, but can equip it in the Lumina crystals, which we will take a look at right now. If we go back to the menu now, we can notice on the right side the Lumina that are actually equipped, and currently we can observe that that's still 0 out of 22. To do this, we click on the menu on the right to get there first. And here we can click on Change Lumina, which I think is somewhat well hidden. And when you come in here, you can see 22 available Lumina points. This means you can also see the abilities or the Lumina that you have learned and can equip them here. You see, there are numbers behind them, and that's the consumption of Lumina points. You can always change, reset, switch them, and so on. The points are not lost, and you can now allocate your 22 points or 12 points, and so on accordingly. Distribute them here with the Lumina from the Pictos you have learned. So, here all the Pictos you have learned appear. And now, for example, we have learned Roulette, which we can equip for each character here using Lumina points. For example, evasive maneuvers during counters, higher damage, AP, at the start, and so on. We can adjust that here. Use everything until we have used up the Lumina accordingly. Yes, here we can also increase the Lumina. But as I said, you can always change the abilities, nothing is consumed. Ultimately, increase the Lumina at the Curator if you want. More slots to distribute again. And you can, of course, do this with every character, so you can now, for example, also go to Gustav. We still had 5 Lumina points left with them, and we can certainly add a few more abilities. On the right, you can see which abilities you have already used. And you actually use them in battle. And that's how you manage to deal significantly more damage, get significantly more buffs, and inflict significantly more damage, of course. And friends, that's how the color of Lumina works. So, take it to heart, definitely use it this way. And first distribute your character points if you still have a 0 there. Then now, get to work and learn Pictos, and above all, spend Luminar to use multiple Pictos with the same character or multiple Pictos with different characters. You can really build your builds much better with it. And in many guides, I've already seen that they can't do that at all. So friends, go into your character, edit it, use the Pictos with Luminar. Increase your Lumina with the Curator if necessary, to be able to spend more Pictos or to be able to spend Lumina points. So friends, until next time, take care, adios, bye bye.